What's up, fight fans, and welcome to the Fight Bananas UFC 319 preview show. I am Ryan Jarrell, and you know who these two guys are. Two of the absolute best bantamweights on planet Earth, Marcus the Maniac McGhee, Mario Bautista. Guys, we got a lot of great fights to talk about, but before we do all of that, I want to talk real quick just about your careers and what's next for you, Mario. So first, Marcus, I just want to ask you, obviously, the huge fight with Petr Yan, you really showed the world that you belong as one of the top guys in the division. Obviously, you didn't get the win, but what are the big takeaways? How do you feel after that war with Petr Yan?
Yeah. Big takeaways are just, that I do have the capacity to compete with these guys at this level and to, be able to be in there. Like, this is where I belong. And then the other part is just, to take each fight with a grain of salt. We're always learning. Monday comes no matter what. So whether it was a win or loss, take the good things away from it and the bad things away from it and evolve for what's next. So, I'm just excited for what's next.
I know the fans are excited to see you back in there, man. That really was a great fight, and yeah, can't wait to see you climb the ladder. And hopefully, you and Mario aren't going to be matched down the line. And Mario, you just keep winning yourself, man. There's a lot of rumors going around right now. Obviously, Khabib came out and said that your next fight is going to be with Umar. What can you say about that and the validity of that?
Yeah, I mean, there's been talks about it, fighting Umar, and like you said, Khabib went out there and said it. So I'm just waiting for a contract at this point. Once I get the contract, we'll make things official, and I'll start, posting it out there and whatnot. But I'm excited for it. If it comes true, I'm excited for it. Get the win, nine wins in a row. What else can I do? So we'll see what happens.
If that fight is what happens next, do you envision that fight going the distance and you getting a decision victory, or do you feel like you have what it takes, obviously, to get him out of there? Like, stylistically, how do you see that fight ending?
I think with him being a heavy grappler, it'll kind of open up my submissions a little bit more because I do like to play around the ground, so there could be a possibility there. But if not, we kind of seen what happened in that Marab fight towards the end. It kind of, started gassing out a little bit. And I like to push the pace, and I always like to finish strong. So I can see myself winning a decision at the end there too.
I know that would be a fight the fans would love to see if that does come to fruition. Can't wait to see what's next for both of you guys. But let's dive right into UFC 319. That's what we're here to talk about. And the main event is for the middleweight title. Dricus du Plessis is defending his strap against Khamzat Chimaev. And I got to admit, I was a little surprised when I looked at the odds, guys. Khamzat is the favorite, minus 205. Dricus is your underdog at plus 170. Let me start with you first, Marcus, man. How do you see this fight going? Does Dricus defend, or are we going to have Ann New and Chimaev wins?
Man, it's such a tough one for me because it's like a toss-up. It's like, who takes the fight to their element, right? Does du Plessis go in there and be unorthodox and find ways to make it really awkward for Chimaev and do that for 5 rounds? Or does Chimaev come out there and dominate like he usually does? So I think I'm leaning more toward du Plessis finding a way to get to retain the belt. But, man, I wouldn't be surprised. Khamzat is special, and I think he could definitely get it done too.
Mario, what are you thinking about this main event?
I think it's going to be a great fight. I think like those first few rounds are going to be pretty intense. And I think you're going to see Chimaev just trying to get that finish. Because that's just the way he fights. But I think he's going to have to reel that back because if he doesn't get the finish within the first or second round, I can see DDP taking over those last few rounds, and they're both kind of awkward. They're just, and DDP just has that gas tank. He has that grit. So. I'm leaning more towards DDP winning a decision in this one.
I feel the exact same way, guys. That's why I was shocked that Dricus is the underdog here. Plus, I mean, you guys can't bet, but for me and for anyone else that isn't an active UFC fighter, I'm running to the sports book and I'm throwing some money down on Dricus. What you guys both said too, like Chimaev's going to start strong, and I think Dricus is too big and too strong to allow him to just bully him throughout the duration of the fight. So I think Dricus will pick up steam and win a decision here. So you're going decision, Mario? What do you think, Marcus? Do you feel like he gets him out of there, or is this going to be a decision?
I think decision. I think it'll be a decision as well.
Okay. So we're going to keep track of our picks here. So come the next show that we have you guys back on, someone's going to have bragging rights. So hopefully it'll be one of you guys, not me. Aaron Pico, Lerone Murphy. This is your co-main event. featherweight bout. Aaron Pico minus 148 as your favorite. Lerone Murphy plus 124 as the underdog. Mario, let me start with you here first. Who you got winning in the co-main?
And the UFC guy, underdog, undefeated in the UFC too. Um, I'm gonna go with Lerone Murphy. He's been. I feel like he's kind of similar to me. Just winning like all these fights, not getting enough shine. Um, but I think it's a different level once those Bellator guys come over. So I think I have Lerone Murphy winning a decision that one.
Marcus?
Yeah, I'm going with Mario on that, man. Crazy to think that, this guy who's on a undefeated in the UFC, been taking guys out as an underdog for this one. I mean, Aaron Pico's great, but did he ever hold the belt in Bellator? I don't think he did, right? Like, I don't know, man. I'm agreeing. I think the UFC guys getting it for sure. Lauron Murphy. I can always say that word.
Yeah, Lerone Murphy. The most recent fight that Pico had was that round one victory over Henry Corrales, a guy that's a little bit older. And, I hate saying it, but I think that there's a lot of truth in the difference between Bellator and the UFC for the most part. There's a lot of high level guys in Bellator and PFL, but there's a difference. And there's a reason why the UFC is the top dog. And I think that there's going to be an adjustment period for Aaron Pico to come over into the UFC. So I'm with you guys as well. I'm going Lerone Murphy. We'll keep it moving here. We'll go down to 125 pounds. Kai Asakura, Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott's a pretty sizable underdog here, plus 245. Asakura, your favorite, minus 305. Marcus, I'll start with you here first on this one.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Asakura. I think that he's got more tools. I think that Tim is a little bit older and been through a lot of wars as well. I think he can do. I think he could be a decision, or it could be a finish. Probably first or second round.
Mario?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Asakura just came off the loss against Pantoja, correct?
Yeah, that's right. That was his UFC debut.
Yeah, so I think he's gonna bounce back. He's great with those flying knees and like timing people coming in with those shots. And what does Tim Elliott do? He's just gonna come after you, try to grab you. So hopefully Asakura's grappling has improved since then. He's more aware because Tim Elliott's gonna try to obviously grapple and wrap up that neck or whatever. But I do have Asakura winning that one.
Yeah, and I like what you said too, Marcus. I mean, the age factor I think is going to play, a big deal in this fight. Tim Elliott's almost 39 years old, so I mean, how much longer can he stay at the top of a division? Competing against these guys, and Asakura is coming right into his prime. So I'm going with Asakura as well. So we're all on the same page here. We need to have some disagreements at some point. Maybe it'll start with this next one. Michael Page and Jared Cannonier. Page is the favorite, minus 170, and Cannonier, the dog, plus 142. So, Marcus, I see you shaking your head. Where are you leaning on this one?
You got it, Marcus.
Oh, he's frozen. Why don't you go, Mario? What do you think we're going to see in this one?
Yeah, Jared Cannonier's our boy, right, at the MMA lab. So you're the only one that's gonna have to go for Page on this one if we're gonna have to make a difference. But I gotta stick with Jared Cannonier. Uh, Michael's moving up a weight class. And I think Jared's gonna have his hands full for sure. That guy's just so awkward, a different type of fighter, karate style, timing you. So I think Jared's gonna have to wrestle, use some of that wrestling, that ground and pound, and getting a hold of him. Um, so I have Jared winning that fight, and hopefully by a nice clean knockout too.
Yeah. I mean, I was initially leaning Page, but I'm not going to go against your teammate. With both of you guys having Jared Cannonier as one of your teammates, I got to lean that way. And I feel like, honestly, the difference in this fight might be the power. The one concern I do have is with a 3-round fight and how well Page moves, that he could outpoint him and just kind of be a little too slick in there. I feel like if this was a 5-round fight, I got Cannonier all day because I think he'd find that chin and put him out. But it makes me question, 3 rounds if Page is able to be a little keep his movement in there. I think it's going to be a close one. But Marcus, I know where you're going. You're going Cannonier. So give us your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, definitely going Cannonier. And I know Michael Venom Page is very good at gauging that range, but I think Jared does a good job of closing distance fast and closing distance well. And I think that that's where the fight's going to be, if he can close that distance. So yeah, definitely going Cannonier. I know he can do it. And it's going to be whether or not Page can adjust to that.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, you were off camera when I was talking about my thoughts. And I was just saying to Mario that, initially I thought with this being 3 rounds and how well Venom Page moves, that he could outpoint the Killer Gorilla. But I don't know. It's tough to go against both of you guys when that's your teammates. So I'm just going to say yes, Jared Cannonier will win. So we'll just say that and move on. This next fight I'm really interested in, guys, because Carlos Prates is an absolute beast, someone that people think could be a champion one day. And Jeff Neal has been a veteran and been around for a really, really long time now. Someone that's a well-rounded fighter. He's got a good chin on him, and he's a sizable underdog, plus 210 going against Prates, who's almost minus 260. Mario, let me start with you first here on this one. Do you think that there's an upset here and the veteran gets the victory, or are you going the new? Well, he's not really a newcomer, but the up and comer Prates.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for Prates on this one. I think I don't know if we'll see an amazing finish. After you kind of lose a fight, you kind of reel things back. You, I guess, try to be a little bit more tactical. Like once you climb up the rankings there, and I think what makes this fight a little bit interesting too is that they're both southpaws. So in this previous fights with Prates, like he'd have that open stance and he'd throw that two and the knee to the body, and kind of shut people down and finish people. But Jeff Neal's a well-seasoned striker as well and southpaw. So it's definitely going to be interesting, but I have Prates in this one. Decision.
Marcus, decision. Okay, Marcus, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I can absolutely see Proctor coming out there, especially if he's going to be hungry, ready to get back at it. I think he's going to have the range and the length. I can definitely see him being able to shut down a lot of different things that Jeff Neal brings. But man, Jeff Neal does have that power, and he brings it as well. Hands of Stone, isn't that his nickname, right? Hands of Stone. So man, I'm gonna go with Neal just to go
There
different
we go.
direction this one.
Okay. And I'll tell you what, guys. I mean, Prates better not be smoking those cigs leading into this fight because I anticipate this to go deep in the waters and into the third round. I mean, I'm sure you've heard, obviously, of him smoking cigarettes. Is that something that you've ever seen other fighters do? Like, have you ever seen any other fighters that you train with smoke cigarettes?
No,
Yes, yeah. Fighters are crazy, bro. Fighters are crazy. Who knows? Different fighters do all different types of stuff, man. I definitely think that a mindset is what matters so much more. Now, those things start to pay dividends, like at the higher levels, and he definitely should not be doing that. But man, you see this guy go out there and go 5 rounds with freaking Ian Gary. You know what I'm saying? Like, who can? A lot of guys can't even go 5 rounds, never smoked a cigarette in their life. So, credit to him where credit's due. He must be putting the work in.
yeah, I think it's crazy that he can smoke cigarettes and perform like that. Honestly, I've never seen a fighter that smokes cigarettes in the UFC. I've seen them like at lower level shows, like on the reservation, before they weigh in to smoke a cig, but never at this level.
Yeah, I've seen it regionally, but obviously I'm not around the guys that you are day to day at the highest of levels. So it's just surprising to me when I hear that story of him smoking cigs. So, anyways, I digress. We'll keep it moving, guys. Another fighter that you both know very, very well, Dricus Klose. He's an underdog here, plus 130 against Edson Barboza, minus 155. This is such an interesting clash of styles. We know what Barboza wants to do, and Dricus is such a good grappler, wrestler. Is that obviously the course to victory, Marcus, for Dricus? Does he have to get this fight to the ground at all costs against Barboza?
No, I don't think he has to, but I think he gets to choose, and I think that's the notion of the fight, right? Making Edson be so defensive all the time that he can make those decisions, right? I do think that that's a strong suit that he's gonna have in this fight, though. So I definitely think he should use it, but I don't think he has to. Jakar is good on his feet as well. He does a lot of good things on his feet, and he can mix it up. The only thing is Edson's that dangerous on the feet, so add the grappling in there, add the pressure, really pressure, right? Very hard to kick like he wants to kick when you're on the back foot. Definitely going with Jakar.
Mario?
Yeah, well, obviously I have Jakar in this one. Jakar just has to keep up that forward pressure that he does so well throughout the whole fight, and if he can get him in the clinch, kind of stop, some of those wild attacks that Edson does, those switch kicks, spinning heel kicks. if he can close that distance and just keep the pressure on Edson, which, over time he does slow down a little bit. So if he could do that, I see Jakar winning this fight. Of course, got to go with our boy.
Yeah. And again, don't hit me if you see me, but like I'm going the other way here. I got to go with Edson. I think his striking is elite, and I think he's going to catch him at some point. So yeah, I'm sorry guys, but I'm going Barboza.
Uh,
Uh, let's keep it moving. Brian Battle, Nursultine Ruziboev. This is a banger of a middleweight fight. Battle's your favorite, minus 150. Ruziboev almost plus 150 as an underdog here. Mario, let me start with you on this one. Really, really good fight. I think it's pretty even. Where are you leaning?
I think I got Brian Battle in this one. He's just very, I guess, like very durable and just has like a gas tank. Every fight I've seen him in, he's just always on that gas with the striking, and he's just getting better. So I'm gonna have to go with Battle on this one.
And Marcus, Battle's an Iridium guy, so you stick with your management team here and pick Battle, or are you picking the upset in Ruziboev?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Battle. I think Battle's got it too. He impresses me in a lot of different ways, and he's a physical guy at that weight class too. So, and I don't know much about the other guy to be honest, but I do know Battle shows up, and I think he can compete with some of the best in there. So I'll definitely go Battle.
Yeah, I'll make it 3 for 3. I think Brian wins the decision. I think this is going to be a close fight. I think Ruziboev is legit and he's going to have his moments, but I think Battle gets his hand raised via decision. Lupi Godinez and Jessica Andrade. This is a really great fight. 115 pounds on the undercard here. Andrade plus 150, Lupi minus 180. Marcus, I'll start with you first here on this one. You going Lupi or you got the former champ and Andrade to get her hand raised?
I'm gonna go a former champ Andrade. I think that she can find a shot on Lupi, and all it takes is one from her. I think that she's so aggressive, so powerful. I think that she is still on her way out of the game, but I think she's gonna want to end it on a couple bangers. So I can definitely see her going out there and showing a little glimpse of her in her prime.
Okay. Mario, you feeling the same way or are you going Lupi?
No, I think I might have to go loopy on this one. Finally, a little difference. Yeah, I don't know. Just sometimes, as of late, Andrade has just not been like showing up. I think, so I think she's like on her way out, like we've been saying. And Loopy's a great striker too. So I think she's just going to be a little bit faster than her. I think Andrade, we all know what she's going to do. So very powerful like strikes. So I think if she can maintain that distance and just be quicker than her, which I think she will be, I see her winning a decision.
Yeah.
Loopy.
Marcus, I'm with Mario on this one, my man. I think Lupi is, again, she's in her prime, and Andrade, I just don't think she's the same fighter. I think Lupi, it'll probably go to a decision. I think that's usually a safe bet when you're looking at fighters that are fairly evenly matched here. But yeah, I am going Lupi, so it makes it 2 for Lupi, 1 for the former champion Andrade. This next fight, King Green and Diego Ferreira. This is another banger of a fight. Lightweight division, King Green plus 170 as an underdog, Diego minus 205 as the favorite. Marcus, how do you see this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Diego. I like King Green. I never count him out. I would never bet against him.
He might be frozen again, Mario. So if you want to take it away.
Yeah, I got Diego in this one. I think Bobby can like his style. I think it was great in his prime. That the style, hands down, being twitchy, having good eyes. I think that's great. But I think over time, the older you get, your reflexes get slower, and so that style tends to catch up with you. We kind of seen it in the Paddy Pimblett fight. And Diego's just a grinder. With his grappling, his striking. Not the craziest style, but he's very efficient in what he does, and he's a great grappler. So honestly, I could see Diego possibly submitting him in this fight. So I'm gonna go with Diego submission, probably second round.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Diego does get the win. I'm not sure if he finishes him or it goes to a decision, but I do like Diego Ferreira a lot in this fight. And I think, again, Green he's getting a little bit older. I don't think he's the same fighter, much like Andrade. I think he's out of his prime, and I think that makes a big difference, especially when you're going against these younger, hungrier lions, so to speak. We're still waiting on Marcus, so we could come back to get his pick on that one. But GM3 and Mikhail Olajaychek, middleweight bout. Gerald Meerschaert plus 190 as an underdog, and Olajaychek minus 230 as a favorite. So, Mario, how do you see this one?
In a mirror shot. I don't even know how to pronounce the other guy's name, but I'll probably go with him. You know, Mearshot's he's good. Like he's very solid grappler and everything. Um, but I'm gonna have to go with the
Olajaychik.
other guy,
Okay.
Olajaychik.
Marcus, we'll go back and get your picks on Diego versus King Green, and then tell me what you think of GM3 and Mikhail Olajaychik.
Okay. So yeah, so King Green, I never bet against King Green, but man, I do feel like Diego. I think in the grappling department is where he's gonna be dominant there. I think he's really aggressive, really strong there. And even though he King Green moves around a lot very well, I think that Diego does a good job of closing distance and getting it there. So I do see him winning. I see it being a decision, but I could also see him, finding a finish like in the third round, grapplings. And then GM3, I'm going with him. Jared Mershaw. I just know him better, and I think that he finds ways to win as well. And I would like to see him win. So yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, and I'm going with Gerald Mershard as well, guys. And to be honest, I've been interviewing him for years now. I really like the guy. So I do cheer for him. So maybe a touch biased because he is getting a little bit older, and Olajaychik is legit. But I think GM3 can get it done. So I'm going to say round 3 submission. One more fight to go, guys, and then we'll get you out of here. Chase Hooper and Alexander Hernandez. This could be an absolute banger to kick the night off. Hooper, a pretty big favorite, minus 290. He's looked really good as of late, and obviously Alexander Hernandez, a veteran, he's been around for a long time, plus 235 as an underdog. Marcus, let me start with you first here, my man. Who do you got in this one?
Man, I feel like Chase Hooper has been evolving so much, and we know him as that grappling specialist, but even in the striking department, you really seen him come alive there as well. I think he's been working there. I could honestly see him showing off in the striking department a little bit, showing that he has some good skill in the striking department. I'm gonna go with Chase. I think he has more options to win. I know Alex is a very strong, explosive guy and can catch him, but Chase is pretty durable as well. He's proven to be durable in these fights, and man, I can see him just finding a way to get it done.
Mario?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Chase Hooper on this one too. And just like Marcus said, like he's just been improving so much. From the first time I've seen him kind of awkward stand up to now, he's improved quite a bit. And I think that forward pressure from Hernandez, always kind of looking for that finish, might cause like a takedown, either Hernandez taking him down, and that's just a place you don't want to go with Chase Hooper. So, yeah, I could see Chase winning this by submission or a decision.
Yeah, I'm with the both of you. Hooper has evolved so much since he first came into the UFC. He's a totally different fighter. He looks legit and someone that's going to be around for a long time now. So I think he gets it done, probably late second, early third submission with one of those long limbs that he has, like go gadget arm. He'll find something and get the sub. Yeah, guys, UFC 319. It's next Saturday, August 16th in Chicago from the United Center. I got my Michael Jordan jersey right there, the GOAT. I appreciate you guys jumping on here and doing this. Hopefully you had as much fun as I did, and you'll have to come back and join me again sometime for another pay-per-view and have you guys break some fights down with us.
Absolutely. I'll have to be inside on this one though, man, because this heat out here is crazy.
Well, I appreciate you jumping on. Sorry for the mix up. And again, Mario, thank you, my man. Always great talking to the both of you.
Awesome, Brian. Thank you so much for having us, man. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, man. Until next time.